Let's go.
AITA. My husband was nicer to BFF than her own husband. I'm writing this post because my best friends, Kate, husband, Bert, called my husband, Tim, an asshole. I have historically kept my opinion of Bert's behavior to a minimum on the grounds that good friends say their piece once and then love each other through shit relationships. But I'm asking internet strangers to be the judge. I am traveling for work. Kate is stuck at home, working, at 7 months pregnant on modified bed rest. Generally during the week, I drop over once or twice to bring her family some dinner. Tim cooks extra portions once a week to share. Cheer her up, read her oldest a couple of bedtime stories so that mom can go to bed early and get some sleep. Bert works an office job. Stressful, I'm sure, but during her pregnancy, he's been working longer and longer hours, salaried, not overtime. She's been sad and a bit lonely. Yes, I've suggested counseling. With that for background, this evening she and I were texting. It was about 6-ish, and she got a craving for a taco place near my house and, importantly, near Bert's office. She says she asked him to grab her some on his way home. He says he's not stopping. He's got work at home and she should just DoorDash something close. This makes her extremely sad. She says irrationally sad, but you be the judge. Because he used to surprise her with her favorite tacos and now he can't be bothered. As one does, I tell Tim. I'm 3 states away, so it was just part of our chat as I was getting back to the hotel and getting ready for a work dinner. I get back from dinner, and Tim had gone and picked her up tacos, remembered the bag of things I'd collected for her and the kid that were in my car, and pulled a tuna casserole from the freezer. Bert hates tuna casserole. He dropped them off on the porch and just texted her that there were some things I wanted her to have. Then Bert gets home. Did he bring tacos, coloring books, or a good attitude? No, he did not. He called Tim to tell him that he was an asshole for showing him up. Other colorful language was also used, including some fairly sexist nonsense. He also texted me telling me to keep my husband away from his wife. Tim did respond rudely when Bert called. Kate says he told Bert he was a failure as a human, a man, a father, and a husband. Apparently that caused Bert to scream expletives so loud their daughter started to cry. Not good. Tim then hung up on Bert, blocked him, and texted Kate that if she needed someone in an emergency she knew where to call, but he wasn't putting up with her shit husband any longer. It's a giant cluster and I have no idea what's going to happen. My husband feels bad things escalated so much, particularly since their daughter was crying. He feels like an asshole at the moment. Obviously Bert thinks he's an asshole. I think he's a sweet man. What do you guys think? AITA has no consensus bot. OOP was NTA. Relevant comments. OOP on what Kate thought about Bert's attitude toward Tim. OOP. She's super pissed at Bert. It'll probably blow over, but at the moment she's extremely angry with him. She doesn't think Tim meant any harm, except that of course the tuna casserole was a bit petty. Could Kate stay with OOP and Tim? OOP. She's always welcome, of course, but I don't think she'd move their daughter out of the neighborhood. I think they will work it out. She does love him very much. That said, he's at a hotel tonight and I don't think that's happened before. Commenter 1. No good deed goes unpunished. That being said, you guys are way too involved in their lives? You're cooking for them multiple times a week? OP. Yeah, she's on bed rest. We have a meal train. I do Wednesday and sometimes Fridays. Her sister does 2 days. Several of her friends trade off the other days. Is Kate able to stay with someone, family or friends? OOP. Her daughter is at the sister's house tonight. She has a daughter about the same age, so they do this all the time. We're going to rotate staying over until the night nurse can start, I think on Tuesday. They did have a part-time nanny, but that was the affair partner, so... Yeah, her sister has been filling in since she was put on bed rest. Update #1. Next day. Not a happy update. The TLDR version is they are separating for unrelated reasons. I apologize for screwing up the title last time. I was trying to be brief and wound up being wildly disappointing. My apologies. Hopefully this is more effective. This update is shared with Kate and Tim's permission. For reasons, Bert can go fuck himself. Bert did email Tim this morning to apologize. Bert said he had forgotten I was out of town and he didn't realize that Tim was dropping off the meal train food. It was a weird email for many reasons, but Tim responded politely if non-committal. Tim hasn't changed his view of Bert in part because of what happened between Bert and Kate this afternoon. Bert also texted me to apologize, but I didn't get his message until after I landed, and by then everything else had happened. I've elected not to respond. Bert went home around noon after staying at a hotel last night. Kate's sister had taken their daughter to the park so Bert and Kate could talk it out. Short version is that Bert has been avoiding Kate because she's not happy during this pregnancy. I mentioned in a comment that Kate had been married previously, and shortly after her first husband died she had complications in a pregnancy that forced her on bed rest. Unfortunately, her son didn't make it. Her current pregnancy is bringing up a lot of painful memories, and she's scared she won't be able to make it to full term. So yes, she's not as cheery as she was when she was pregnant with their daughter. It's a difficult time. Bert is frustrated and angry that she's not happy, so he's been staying late and ignoring her until she stops doing that. I know that sounds horrid, but I think they could have worked through those feelings. But as he was explaining how he felt, he said she should be glad her son wasn't there because otherwise she wouldn't have this life at all. Yeah, that still knocks the wind out of me. It's so cruel. She did talk to him about that statement, but the explanation doesn't get better. In any event, for her that was just the end. She told him she was done, they can work out joint custody, but the marriage was over. She called her sister and she and her husband encouraged Bert to leave. Currently, Kate's not angry or sad or panicked, she's just done. Personally, I'm surprised since they've weathered some fairly shitty things, including infidelity, by him. But I guess that was the line? In any event, her D&D friends are over there for Saturday games night and they are eating waffles. She thought it was important for the internet to know that waffles are appropriate separation food. In terms of her well-being, which many kind souls were worried about, they have a prenup. The house is hers, his family property is his. I'm sure there will be a fight over custody, but she will be financially okay. In any event, she has family and friends who will help and support regardless of what happens. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Wow, this guy is just... wow. I have nothing nice to say. I'm glad she's getting out though. Who throws their wife's previous miscarriage in her face? Just... no. OP, I don't know if this is worse, but it wasn't a miscarriage. She delivered. He was just too premature to survive. It was a horrible time. OP and her husband standing up for Kate? OP, pretty much. With an added BS of saying he wasn't one of those cucks who would raise another man's child like her friends' husbands, 2 of which are amazing stepdads, so fuck him sideways. I'm choosing not to look up the origin of that insult tonight as I'm already so mad and jet-lagged and not coherent. Kate's husband's insulting statement about her deceased son. OP. The explanation was he would never have dated her if she had a kid and she wouldn't have changed careers. So basically she wouldn't have her husband, daughter, or her job if her son had lived. Plus, he insulted men who are stepfathers with some sexist nonsense. Commenter. 2. Of course he was previously unfaithful. Glad she's kicked him to the curb. Sending good thoughts her way. Update #2. 4 weeks later. Holiday update. I guess whether you think this is a happy update depends on whether assholes abandoning their kids is a net positive or not. Kate and Bert are still separated. It took her a few weeks, but she finally spoke to her attorney and asked them to start the paperwork. One problem has been locating him for service and scheduling parenting time so it wouldn't appear that she is withholding his child. The night he was escorted out, he apparently went to a hotel, then told his boss he had to work remotely. Where the fuck was that option? And then moved home to his mother. Kate has reached out to him multiple times to schedule parenting time and only found out last week that he wasn't in the state. She finally called his mom to see if she wanted to come and see her grandchild for Thanksgiving and learned that he was there the entire time. In any event, they finally made a parenting schedule and, at her attorney's suggestion, agreed he could have the first holiday since the separation. He was supposed to come down on Wednesday and pick up their daughter for a few days so she could spend time with his side of the family. So we planned a Friendsgiving to keep her spirits up since her little one would be away for the first time. Fun? Not fun, but it's what families do. Anyway, he didn't show. Thursday morning, still no Bert. Kate was worried since he was supposed to drive down, so she called his mom again. Bert was fine, but didn't feel up to dealing with this. Yep, heard it myself with my own 2 ears. Kiddo was thankfully still asleep, so she did have the joy of watching her mom have a complete and utterly meltdown. Kate didn't have the greatest childhood herself, and knowing her POS husband was completely indifferent to his daughter was just too much. She was sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe and then started to have contractions. Then her sister and I started panicking. Had we been thinking clearly, we probably would have remembered that she had BH with both pregnancies and calmly assessed the situation after she wasn't so overwrought. Instead, I panic-dialed her OB and we rushed her to the hospital. She's fine. Baby is fine. Kiddo has now more screen time and junk food in 2 days than her mother has let her have in her entire life, because I am not a great babysitter. Kate will be in the hospital for a few more days as her OB is concerned with her stress levels. Her sister's husband called Bert, but thus far, he has not made any attempts to do something useful like, I don't know, take care of his own child. So, I guess there won't be a fight over custody? A shitty update, but it's been a shitty weekend. If anyone knows how to cheer up a little girl who is missing her parents that doesn't involve McDonald's and Bluey, please let me know. If there were still Toys R Us, I'd probably be bankrupt. Update. Thank you all for the suggestions, particularly you Mama Cass for shaking my brain loose. I had a sewing room full of supplies and hadn't even thought of crafts. We spent all day today designing and making doll clothes and matching scrunchies for her mom, her aunt, uncle, cousin, etc. She's happy and tired, and I couldn't be more grateful for internet strangers. On the less good news, Kate is going to be in the hospital for the duration. She and the baby are fine, but due to some complications, they want her to stay there until she delivers. Kiddo is staying with us until tomorrow. We live close to the hospital. But she'll be heading back to Sister's place, which is close to her preschool, tomorrow night. Kate wants her to have as much normalcy as feasible. I'm still worried, but the doctors are great and seem to have it under control. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Do not think that. Eventually, Bert will wake the fuck up or will meet with a lawyer, who will tell him some very harsh truths. He'll realize that if he doesn't fight for and get custody, the child support he will have to pay will be higher than if he had 50/50ths or primary custody. They may have a prenup, but prenups have nothing to do with child support, which is a right of the child, not a right of the parent. Tell your friend to keep a detailed log of all these interactions with her soon-to-be ex, or do it for her while she is emotionally incapacitated. Have her send an email to Bert and his mom, or a text message, anything written, that essentially goes, so we collaborated on a holiday custody schedule. I gave you first holiday since our separation with our daughter out of good faith and of wanting to show that we can co-parent peacefully. You agreed and then you let her down at the very last minute because you didn't feel up to dealing with this. She has to do the same for all the interactions that are verbal, so she can have a paper trail to show the judge. Encourage her to keep on reaching out to Bert in the name of collaborative co-parenting, so he can never win the argument of, she withholds the children from me, Your Honor. All in writing or followed by writing summarizing the content of the conversation if it happens verbally. If she can't do that because of her health condition and her emotional state, she can have someone else do all of that for her while she's CC'd on the emails. I might be dealing with the last weeks of pregnancy and separation, and it's hard, but I'm still doing all that I can as a mother to make sure it does not impact our children negatively, and make sure the transition process is smooth and co-parenting is possible, is the message you want to be able to display to a judge if it comes to that. Do not rile Bert up and make sure that your friend does not either. But when he acts unhinged, despondent, or irresponsible, bring it up in writing. Always talk about Bert in good terms, at least in front of the daughter, so he can't have the parental alienation defense. Have your friend squeaky clean so there is nothing he can grab onto for custody. No, I acted terribly, but so did she, Your Honor. It will be all. So the plaintiff was being a dismissive turned aggressive asshat the entire time, while the defendant was being as collaborative and in good faith as could be. Primary custody to the defendant. OOP. This was the exact advice her attorney gave us yesterday. Thank you. Commenter 2. My money is on Bert being happy as a clam that he can now be with his side piece without burden. That'll be short-lived, and he's going to try and win her back as soon as he sees how much he has to pay for child support. Document all of the attempts to give him access and the failures on his part. It will help her custody battle, and ultimately cause him to have to pay more support. Commenter 3. I'm so sorry to hear this update. Not surprised, but sorry. For the little girl, how willing are you to do crafts? Hit up the dollar store for several disposable tablecloths, put one on the floor and one on whatever surface you let her paint on. When done, fold them inward and take to the garbage. Cleanup is 10x easier this way. You could get a child's beading kit to make mommy a Christmas present. Bracelets, necklaces, etc. If you tend toward more DIY, look up a recipe for salt dough and buy some washable paints. Put her hair up, sacrifice an old t-shirt, preferably one of her father's, and let it be a painting dress. Decorating for Christmas can be as simple as sheets of white paper and a pair of scissors. Make snowflakes. If you have access to a printer, there are lots of templates to cut more elaborate shapes like Star Wars, probably not her jam, or cartoon characters. Michaels also usually sells kits to make little foam ornaments or decorations. Make them extra funny with a small package of googly eyes. One word of caution, stay away from glitter. You will shine for the next year. If something needs to be shiny, get glitter glue. I hope this helps. Oop, you are a gem. I've been so thrown I didn't even think of arts and crafts. Thank you. Baby update. 1 month later. It's a boy. I don't know if anyone still cares, but Kate safely delivered a perfectly healthy little boy on Thursday and is now back home. Her sister's was by her side and it all went fairly quickly after she was induced. Bert is still MIA. Last we heard he was in Alaska with his brother. Kate's lawyer has been managing communications to keep the evidence trail as pristine as possible. He has been served, but of course these things take time. The little one asks about her dad every single day and it breaks my heart. But I guess there's no help for that. We are following the therapist's advice, and legal advice, on that subject. I think it will get easier now her mom is finally home. On the home front, Kate is thrilled to be out of the hospital. We have all huddled up for a plan to help her over the next few months while she recovers. I'm on duty today, but everyone is currently napping, so it's quiet and peaceful. She asked for tacos, so Tim is making a taco run for lunch in an hour or so. I probably won't update again, but I did want folks to know she and her son made it through with flying colors. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. I know it's going to take years, decades, but in my mind there will be a day where Kate is very happy that Tim decided to deliver tacos and she got rid of this sorry excuse of a man. All the best, OP. Would love to get an update, but I understand if that's the end. OP. TBH. I think that's why she asked for tacos. Tim has been feeling shitty for how everything went down and how his bluntness, in his mind, contributed to Kate's complications and the kiddo's distress. Seeing Kate happy and relaxed, surrounded by her family, and everyone devouring tacos definitely cheered him up. It certainly cheered me up. Commenter 2. I'm glad you're okay. Now, if possible, I have a question for you. Do Bert's parents approve of what he's doing? Please keep us posted until your friend gets his revenge on this pest. OP, I don't know what Bert's mom thinks. I called her to let her know when Kate was scheduled to be induced and to invite her to Xmas at Kate's request. She never responded. Bert's father passed away a few years ago, which precipitated some of Bert's worst behaviors. I've only met his brother a handful of times, but given how he treats his wife, with tremendous devotion, I was surprised to hear Bert was there. I would have expected his brother to chew his ass out and send him home. But who knows what Bert is telling his family about the separation? It's very odd. I'm extremely curious, but sticking strictly to the path the attorney has laid out for all communication. Kate might get some answers when the divorce response is filed, but his attorney has gotten an extension, so that won't be for a few months. Commenter 3. OP. It's just a suggestion of mine. But since there's a possibility that the brother is being deceived, would it be more receptive to send an anonymous message telling him what's really going on? It's just a suggestion, because Bert really is an asshole and needs to suffer a little. OP. Kate's sister and I both thought the same thing, but her attorney said absolutely not. We will just have to wait for it all to come out in the wash. Commenter 4. I am so glad that you all are doing as well as can be, wishing some peace and love in the new year. Update. 3.5 months later. Sad update. Bert came back. Kate and Bert reconciled. For the health of her family, she is stepping away from me and her sister and several other friends. I was hoping it was just temporary, but it's been a month since we spoke to her. Not much more to say, really. I hope if she needs support, she knows she can call with no judgment. Top comments. Commenter 1. Not the update I was hoping for. Her self-esteem must really be in the shitter, but at least it's not your problem anymore. Commenter 2. Oof. Translation: she's been isolated from her support network. Commenter 3. It's sad, really. You were hoping for some closure, that's understandable. Sometimes you put a lot of faith into something, reconciliation, healing, and it doesn't quite pan out the way you envisioned. It's tough, and it's okay to feel that way. You deserve support, absolutely. And maybe it means letting go, and that's okay too. Big. You're not alone, I think. Commenter 3. It's sad, really. You were hoping for some closure, that's understandable. Sometimes you put a lot of faith into something, reconciliation, healing, and it doesn't quite pan out the way you envisioned. It's tough, and it's okay to feel that way. You deserve support, absolutely. And maybe it means letting go, and that's okay too. Big. You're not alone, I think.